Money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. I'm always right.
What is going on, believers? Guys, I hope everybody is having a great morning. My name is Bleeves. This is Breakfast with Bleeves. And guess what? The media is on the trail to manipulate you once more. But before we start talking about how the media is trying to manipulate you because they expect you to be part of the capitulation so that they can get in for the final time. And if you or anybody that you know as an analyst or anybody that you watch as an analyst that's telling you that that final capitulation is coming, then that's because all the indices tell you that we are at the end of the bear market. Now, remember what I've been telling you for a little over a week right now, maybe even close to 2 weeks, is this. Maybe, just maybe, this crypto market is not really only 6 months into the bear market. Maybe that blow off top was an artificial blow off that was manufactured, and the real blow off top, which matched up perfectly, was back in May of 2021. And that what we saw in November was really just institutional money come blasting in order to blow things up, in order to make their end of year profits look good, create a little bit of manipulation. And since then, all we've had is negativity. Now, I said to you, and I've got a video coming out today. We're going to be talking about Don Varelli, the man that was just hired by Grayscale, and he is responsible for the July 6th meeting over the Bitcoin ETF. Now, this is a spot ETF. This is not just it can only be like 5% of the total that Grayscale is currently able to do right now. Now, that is a problem because what it's doing is preventing people from mass adoption. Now, let's talk about the media real quick before we get any further. So yesterday, the director of listed Chinese company embezzles $8 million, uses funds to purchase Bitcoin mining rigs. According to the company's, this is a Chinese prosecutor is reported to have given a thumbs up to the arrest of a listed big data company director accused of embezzling $8 million using funds to buy Bitcoin mining rigs. Although Lee Canaan has denied the allegation, executives insist their evidence implicates him. So that's going on, and that's crazy. And ooh, spooky, spooky, spooky. Somebody in China is stealing stuff. That's our lead article for the day. Ooh, spooky, spooky. What's our next article of the day? World Bank warns of global recession, stagflation. This is the sharpest slowdown in 80 years. Ooh, spooky, spooky. Ooh, you should be scared. Spooky, spooky. The SEC is coming for XRP. Ooh, spooky, spooky. Gary Gensler is now going after Binance for their BNB and their ICO offering, even though the ICO offering wasn't in the United States. Ooh, spooky, spooky. Oh, and buried at the bottom of page 1, Citadel, Charles Schwab, Fidelity join forces to build a cryptocurrency trading platform. What the what? Citadel, Charles Schwab, and Fidelity join forces to build a cryptocurrency trading platform. 12 hours ago, this bomb dropped. Citadel Securities and Virtue Financial are reportedly building a cryptocurrency trading platform with help from Fidelity Investments and Charles Schwab. We know there is significant interest in this cryptocurrency space, and we will look to invest in firms and technologies working to offer access with a strong regulatory focus and in a secure environment. What? Nothing says that you are being manipulated more than a whole bunch of negative news, and then buried at the bottom of the page, the Citadel. Listen. If Satan was real, and if Satan had to get a job it would be running Citadel securities. Don't forget that it was 1 year ago that we did the short squeeze on AMC and GameStop stocks. And guess what? They halted trading on Robinhood. Why? Because Citadel is the clearinghouse for Robinhood. Citadel called Robinhood and ordered them to shut down trading. This is exactly what happened. And I'm not making it up. Citadel shut down Robinhood because they had a short position on GameStop and AMC, and they were about to get wrecked, and they got wrecked for billions. So now, what are they doing? They're coming after the Chads. They're coming after the penny stock investors. They're coming after people like us. That's what they're doing. That's why UST collapsed. That's why Terra Luna. That's why you're talking about Citadel being involved. That's why you're talking about BlackRock being involved, because they are the shittiest people on the planet. The only person on this planet shittier than Citadel is Gary Gensler. Goldman Gary, who is doing his level best to destroy cryptocurrency token by token by token, because he is a Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Chase. I don't know how you say fuckboy in French, but you get what I'm saying. And all he's trying to do is manipulate the entire market so that you use fiat. They do not want you to be wealthy. They cannot control you if you have generational and sustainable wealth. The government loses control of you if that happens. They are trying to maintain control, and they have to do that, because if they do not, then who stops getting paid? Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Chase. This is the way the world works. This is why cryptocurrency is so important, because it is disrupting the people in the world who rely on your money and your lack of knowledge. They rely on this. That's how they make their money, by manipulating you. And what do? They get somebody like Gary Gensler, who works for Goldman Sachs for 20 years. He learns the ins and outs, how to manipulate everything. And what do? They put him in charge of the Security and Exchange Commission. Why? Because his vast knowledge of the way the stock market works would make him a valuable asset. No, it's to control you. That's what this is about. That's what it's always been about. Now, let's move on just a little bit more. First mover Asia. Crypto's institutional future may be incompatible with Litecoin's privacy protecting feature. This is what happened. Here's what happened yesterday. Litecoin. Now, if you don't know, Litecoin's been around for a long time. Litecoin does a lot of transactions. Litecoin is a major coin in cryptocurrency, and it is a major blockchain in cryptocurrency, but it's basically something for businesses. It's not really, if you're looking for a business platform, Litecoin is your place where you're going to find a lot of transactions and a lot of, listen, they've got a very active network. Here's the thing. Litecoin, they launched what's called Mimblewimble, which is a hilarious name. Mimblewimble was the name of their update. And in that update, it said that they were tightening and increasing the security so that it would be much more difficult for people to track your Litecoin usage. And the South Korean token exchanges are all delisting the token because they can't have any privacy, and Mimblewimble breaks the ability of the South Korean government to track everything you do. Think about this. A long time ago, it's its own blockchain now, but this was, basically it was a copy of Bitcoin, but for businesses. So But now that they're making it more secure, that's not sitting well with the people in charge, especially in South Korea. And you're going to see this play out across the country right now. But businesses, you better support it. If you're in a business and you in any way do business with Litecoin or use that blockchain, then it is imperative upon you to make sure that you are supporting those guys. And finally, before we get into our little realm of the woods, or we talk a little bit about Bitcoin and Don Verrilli, South Korea investigates Terra Labs for alleged Bitcoin embezzlement following UST collapse. This is what we were talking about. If you remember, in their listing, they had 87,912 Bitcoin. In their first listing, 77,912. They had 40,000 Bitcoin, and then they had 37,912 in the Terraform governance lab. And they were going to use it to stabilize the price. Now, it's very simple. It's very simple for you to work through this. And it doesn't take a genius to really figure any of it out. So we're going to take a shot right here, and we're going to pop open calculator. You have 77,912 Bitcoin, and you want to sell them all for 30,000, because at the time Bitcoin was trading for about 30, let's call it 32,000, but that kind of transaction is going to wreck a market, right? So you have $2.3 billion in Bitcoin, and you can't find a way to slow down the bleeding of your token with that much in just Bitcoin resource. You got to think your way through what's happening here. So instead of what the investigators are now saying is that instead of using it, they did not use that Bitcoin in order to do that. And that is why they have plenty of money to work on Terra Luna right now. Now, that doesn't make it true. It just means that the authorities are investigating. But in the meantime, just because it's so awesome, let's go over here and let's look at Do Kwon and see what kind of statement Do Kwon has made. Do Kwon has protected his tweets. So now he is no longer, listen, this is the guy who is in charge of one of the largest cryptocurrencies in the world, formerly. And he is now blocking people from accessing information from him, which in many instances is him making statements about his own platform. So that's where we are right now. That's who he is, and the heat is on for Do Kwon. So I look, I don't hate the guy. I think that it's very funny. Oh, and by the way, for those of you that are watching around YouTube right now and listening to everybody go, "Wah, Saitama's gonna rug. Wah. Why is the price going down? I told you it was going to happen. They don't have everybody with all their tokens yet." Listen, it's going to take 24 days for them to release their tokens. It's obviously they've screwed this process up. I think that's what they've done. But that doesn't mean that everybody's not going to get their tokens, blah, 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 blah. But they released a statement before anybody started, "You're going to get rugged," saying this: the migration to Saitama V2 is happening. Don't worry about with chart drops or token value. Soon you'll be getting your V2 tokens. Continue to check our migration central at Saitama token. Due to the high volume of wallets being airdropped, process can take a few days. So we go over here and we can look at whatever their migration central is and see what it is. Read the migration plan, watch the AMA, send your questions, and I don't really see anything that really sets me off there about it, other than I guess a quick Q&A. And if you have questions, you could send them questions about it, but they're relying on you to be quiet and have a little bit of patience right now about what's going on. In the meantime, Saitama has on its V2 150,000 holders. Oh shit, no, 16,300 holders. Okay, so they're moving very, very slow. Not just slow, but very, very slow. So what does it do to the price? Well, there's a lot of this right here. Okay, now when you look at that, Crypto Demon came out and he posted this right here and said, "Oh, look at this! Look at this! This is what's happening over here." So you see a couple of buys, a couple of sells. It looks like this person's just a bad trader and got wrecked because they're buying and selling and not making anything. And you can see here that there's a couple of familiar wallets that are doing buying. This guy bought 2610, sold. He made an ETH on it. He made a couple $1,000s on it. But this is just normal, high level, high volume trading. This person right here didn't make very much on this trade, which took 24 minutes. So he's just trying to make a little bit of money over a couple of minutes. He's doing like spot trading. And that's what's happening right there. That's not a whole bunch of whales selling out. So, and last night I was laughing at the whole process because like you can go look at a chart and you can see it like this and you're like, oh my God. Then I thought, wait a minute, what's the market cap? Well, then the market cap on this is 587 million, and that's not accurate. So the market cap on it is going to be somewhere in the 270 million range, 280 million range. So I don't agree with anybody who's saying, look, if you're saying that they're inept and incompetent, okay. But if you're saying that everybody's getting rugged, no, they're not. And you've been saying that, and listen, everybody who's been saying that has been saying that for months now. And is everybody rugged? Nope. Still not rugged. Still a $270 million market cap. The people who invested at the top, they're wrecked. You can admit that. We should all know that there are a lot of people who invested at the top or near the top who are now way down on their investment. That's truth. But that's not a rug pull. That's just poor management. So, remember, Saitama is going to be a poor manager of all of the stuff because they're a poor manager of their stuff. And that's what they are. That's what they do. That's who they are. That's what they've always been. But let's move on and let's go over here and let's look at Volt, because Volt is up 21.4% right now. And not only are they up 21.4%, but they are up 11% on the week. And there was a big, and when I say big, 41.6 Ethereum new investors. So there's a new whale who's entered the fray and propped that price up quite a bit. If we get 5 or 6 more whales, imagine what the price action is going to look like. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's getting to be kind of heavy in the Volt universe. And every time somebody says, "Oh, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I don't think it's going to do anything, George, because in a bear market, shouldn't Volt be going way up?" Shouldn't Volt be going? Of course it shouldn't be going. You shouldn't be thinking that. It's a bear market. You don't understand crypto. So if you start getting those messages from people who are just a little bit nervous, they just don't understand crypto. So help them, because you who follow me, you understand crypto and you wouldn't ask silly questions like that, right? The Volt Army has your back. Not only do they have your back, let's go over here to, and you're going to see this, by the way, in the Volting Hour when I do that. So you will see some of this today, but let's move down the list here. Here we are. That was just an update from there. That was just an update. That was sent a message there to Huobi Global. But here we go. FOMO also affects exchanges and tier 1. So what I expect that means is that, and by the way, there's a tier 1 coming this month. That's what everybody seems to be talking about in the upper echelon. Also, you got Zach Humphreys over here, who is now covering Volt Inu, because guess what? Volt moves the needle, has over $5 million in trading volume per day, according to CoinMarketCap. Jay Gagan, you can see right here, he got up at like 3 o'clock in the morning in order to let everybody know that it's time to Volt. So it must be Volting time. The goal is to Volt everything. It's kind of funny. But here's the Volt mentally on Mars. Paris Hilton doing 11:11, which, as we know, is the vaulting hour. Then you have, where did it go? Because I missed it. Oh, Pablo Crow goes out for an Asia. Look, guys, okay, help me out here. You see what's on his plate. I hope everybody can see what's on his plate. That's not Chinese food. That's Japanese food. That right there, that's called sushi, right? That's Japanese food. And why does he have an egg roll at a Japanese restaurant? Or why does he have a fortune cookie at a Japanese restaurant? Because that's not right. That's not correct. That's a Anyway, it turns out, though, that it has FTX on the back of it. Now, guys, remember, we were talking about one of the things that Volt was saying was, and there was a whole list of stuff, but down at the bottom, it was FTB, RHP, a bunch of letters, right? Each one of those represents one of the top 10 crypto exchanges. That's what it was when you broke it down. Now, you can see here that they just continue moving, right? The 41 ETH buy, like we're having all these conversations. There's all this stuff happening, just chatter going on Twitter, but it's constant and it continues. And there's always something new happening. And then here we have Ian Heinisch beating the shit out of somebody's fists with his old Volt Inu shirt, using the old design. I still love the aqua. The aqua designs, to me, is I really still like that aqua design. And it's not nothing to see somebody recognizing that and putting the aqua on the back with the new logo and design. So we'll see. Also, by the way, for those of you that don't know, I did find the brand of hair dye to make my hair Volt green for a month. So if that's still on the table, DJ, I don't know where you are, man, but if it was still on the table, we can make that happen. But anyway, that's what's going on in the Voltverse. Now, there are a bunch of things that I can't even talk to you about that I'm privy to about Voltasoft and Voltachange, which we can't even have conversations about it because it's next week. Next week you're going to see it's going to get crazy, guys. You're going to start seeing it next week, and it's just going to be out of its mind. And by the way, Bitcoin is up a couple hundred points right now, which means that Ethereum is starting to move to the upside. It was up, it's only up $6-7, but it is moving back towards the upside. So the American markets might be having a good little run. I think we still have a few minutes before we start to see the Dow, but it was up 85 points overnight. So there seems to be a lot of good or positive sentiment, but don't get it twisted when I say that, because the markets ended up down on the day. So the change from yesterday to today was down like 200 points. I think it closed up a little bit towards the end, but at this point down here, it was really down. So, we lost some points on the market, closed down on the day, up barely on the 5-day, up on the monthly though, and still treading water on the 6 months. So the money's coming back. It's just coming back slowly. So it's getting better. We're starting to see a little bit of improvement, and that's a pretty good thing. But moving on to the next one here on the list, Wagme Games just had a big move to the upside. It was, I mean, we're talking about 8% on the move here. But you see, just in the last couple of hours, there's been a little bit of movement here. There's been some bigger, remember, it's still fairly new. So we've got somebody aping in for quite a bit right now, trying to secure a better position for themselves. And remember, this thing did run last time. And I think that before we switch to version 2, I think that this was about 6x from where it is right now. So, I feel like we're in a good position. We got a new, got my Wagme hat on. We've got a new beta launching next month. There's a public beta for everybody, and that sounds like a pretty good idea and a pretty good thing. Now, let's move on, because Btfa in 24 hours will be launching their official Banana Task Force Ape collection of NFTs. Now, the NFTs are $180 each. And there's going to be 10,000 total that are available with over 150 unique traits. And one of the things that's going to happen, by the way, just so everybody understands, in order to continue to keep the price moving, they're going to sweep the floor every once in a while and buy up everything at the floor price. And once per week, they're going to do that in order to help drive the price. And as long as people are purchasing and are active in the NFT market, then they are going to continue sweeping that floor and keeping that price pumping. Now, moving on from that, there was an announcement, and here we go. There are 4 one-of-ones. There's the golden ape, the diamond ape, the king ape, and the slime ape. Those are all, if you open those when we launch tomorrow, if you open those, you get $10,000 airdropped to your Ethereum wallet. And that is a huge amount of cheddar, my brother. And not only that, there's also the Galaxy Ape. The Galaxy Ape is worth 20,000 ETH. Guys, that is $20,000 worth of ETH. I said 20,000 ETH. Oh my God. Is worth $20,000 of ETH. And by the way, if you're not, you should be watching the Crypto Shop with Tavares Hobbs every day, because he is giving away $100 worth of ETH, courtesy of the Banana Task Force Apes. I think every day until launch, maybe till the 14th of June. So go check that out on the Crypto Shop. He usually comes on 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But follow that and make sure that you're checking his content out. He is a very good technical analyst, and Justin Seals is also over there helping along with the process, and they are some sharp characters that are big time into it. Now, I've done some technical analysis on Btfa, and I've noticed that for some reason, there are no mohawks on any of the apes that I've seen so far. So I feel like there's a conspiracy to prevent the mohawks, and I'm not sure why. But that mohawk method is important. Like it's almost like Samson and his power hair, or whatever Samson does. But guys, there's a lot to like about the Banana Task Force Apes, and that doesn't include, by the way, Bandex, which is their DAO, and that DAO, they have, there's no guarantees in crypto, but they have decided to put a lot of effort into the Bandex DAO. So you're going to see this thing pop to, what they predict, at least a $10 million market cap based on what they've got coming out. But you can look over here and you can see that on Btfa, we're talking about a almost $11 million market cap. We're 24 hours away from the launch of Btfa. And with the Bandex, you're looking at a $30 million, $40 million, $50 million ecosystem that's generating a lot of heat. Especially, this is a very down market. Remember, this is a very down market, and it's very tough for people to find their way. But Btfa and the people behind it, Sway, Crypto Family, all of those guys, they put their money where their mouth is, and they have done a remarkable job of pumping and pushing this product so that it's primed and ready, primed like a primate, primed for a parabolic run when the timing is right. And we're getting to where, if all sentiment, by the way, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin in just a few minutes, but if all sentiment is right, then it looks like we might be at the final stage of capitulation in a bear market, and we might be ready for things to start moving to the upside. So we'll see how it goes, but a lot of analysts are starting to look at it, and they're really seeing it this way. Now, Terrarium. So that if you haven't been informed yet, if you've been living under a rock, on July 4th, TerraPool will officially launch. Now, TerraPool is their attempt at creating their own launching pad for brand new cryptos. Now, new cryptos always need to have a spot in order to launch, and they always need a little bit of help getting launched, unless you have somebody like in the situation that we were just talking about, somebody like Sway, or some of these guys that are behind Btfa who are already in a well-off position. So, there's always that possibility. But the Terrarium project launching on the Terra Pool launching on July 4 will, I don't want to say it's going to revolutionize it, but everything that everybody has seen here from Terra Pool right now, and we're looking at we're looking at we're looking at the stuff going on with it, including there's the Terra Exchange. That's kind of what you're looking at right there. That's a little mock-up of what it's supposed to look like. You can see up here the Terra logo. This is a working design, by the way. So you're going to see you've got your trading view chart right here in the middle. You've got your pairings over here on this side. To me, this looked a lot like, by the way, L Bank. I want to say, like, if you go look at L Bank, and I think I've deleted L Bank over here. Yeah, I may have deleted it, but let's maybe Bitrue, because I think Bitrue might look like this too. So if you go in and look at Bitrue, then you're going to kind of get the same thing. You get the same sort of design over here. So they're going with what works. Now, if you look at L Bank, you really see the same kind of design. If you go look at most of the exchanges, you're going to see basically the same design. You stick with what works. Now, it looks like over here that we're seeing a little less. Bitrue, by the way, is giving you a large list. Like they're a little oversized on their windows. I don't like that. That's kind of annoying to me because I don't like even listen. It's all it takes is scrolling your finger. I understand that. I'm not beyond the understanding of it, but it's annoying to me to have to do that just to get to where I want to buy and sell. So, and we're looking at XRP, by the way. So, XRP is down to 30 cents. And guys, XRP is going to go on a run. It's going to go on a big run. So anyway, but you can see right here, like it's a very clean design, a very nice design. And then you have the Terra Pool launching pad. So, I mean, we're going to see how this thing plays out. I want to see what tokens are launching first. Now, full disclosure, I don't think that Terra Pool moves that needle a whole lot. I think that moves the needle. I think it makes for a better project because it creates an immediate utility and an immediate use case for the Terrarium project. And that is a beautiful thing. But I think I would like to see a little bit more coming because as of this point, there's no use case. There's just exchanges so far. And I'd like to see a few more exchanges, by the way, and not just what we have so far. But you can see right here, this was the plan right now. So on July 4th, we're launching Terra Pool. The app is not listed in there, but I think the app is going to become the number 3 Terra payment gateway. Because that's what I read in Dr. Praveen's documentation. It looked like that's where it was going to come. So maybe there's going to be a Terra Pool app. I want to say anyway, because there were pictures up here. So I'm not sure if it's integrated. I think we saw one. Yeah, right here. Welcome to Terra Pool. So you can see that it's part of an app. I'm not sure if this is going to be the main app or if it's going to be a secondary app. There's a question that I have in that regard. But so we're going to see that. And then we're going to see the Terra Exchange, but that's not going to come until the 4th quarter of 2022. And those two together give to me, that gives them at least $1 billion market cap. Having a payment gateway in the 1st quarter of 2023 and a card gives it about a $3 billion market cap. An NFT exchange, I don't think really moves that needle too much, and it kind of stays at a $3 billion market cap for me. The blockchain in the 3rd quarter of 23, that right there is where things start to change. Now, as you notice from some of the stuff that you've dealt with and you've seen, blockchains, not all of them just go crazy right away, but they do tend to have value, especially if they're high traffic and well used blockchains. And these guys have a lot of money behind this. So I would tend to believe that they're going to have a nice run. So all of these together suddenly puts this project in the $20 billion range of blockchain exchange. There is a DeFi. I think there's a DeFi element, like a DeFi wallet or something that's mixed into all of this. Don't quote me on that yet, by the way. I'm not sure. But credit card payment processing, launch pad for new cryptos, a centralized exchange, a DeFi wallet, I want to say, but again, don't hold me to that, and then a Terrarium blockchain, and the NFT exchange. And that doesn't include, by the way, because there are still things that are on the roadmap that we have not yet even gotten to the point of consideration. And when you go back to the roadmap and you start to look at some of the things, exploring the metaverse, Global Terra Expo. So there's things happening in the background here. Google Pay and Apple Pay integration. Now that could be part of the pay system that we were talking about before. That could be part of what we've got going on over here, but it could also be something entirely different, because that Terra payment gateway was based on it being a card and a payment method, and that's not the same as Google Pay or Apple Pay integration. So I'm not sure yet, but I know that you got to give away quite a bit of money to get on Google Pay and Apple Pay. So if they can do that, more power to them. So I didn't mean to spend a lot of time on this, but there's a lot going on here. So there's a lot that's happening with Terra. Now the Shift app is almost done. We're almost at completion for Shift. So we're going to have an AMA pretty soon with Pan, and we're going to talk about it. You can see here, this is suffering from that price action. It's suffering from the way the market is right now. It's been just a difficult sort of thing. And you can see here, this is about where we were. This was our entry point, something like that. Then we had this big launch over here because it was relaunching and it had a nice run, but this was our launch point. This is basically where we were to begin with. And there's a lot of people here who have some influence, who are believing that this is going to have just a nice run. The way I look at it is this, and I don't mind telling you guys, I'm in for like $2,000, right? And my entry point is around the 400,000 market cap. So like my entry point, I'm in a great position with Shift Token, and I've got it staked at Brew Labs, and I'm feeling good about that because it's a pretty good yield. And all I have to do right now is just kind of wait and have a little patience, and think about this. If it goes to a $10 million market cap, and I'm not saying it's going to do anything, I think that it has an opportunity to be very big. I think it's got some partnerships that are coming. That's what we're waiting to hear. It's got some partnerships coming. But what if this thing runs to not just a $10 million market cap, $100 million market cap? It's a fitness app. There's going to be some supplements. There's a full integration that's happening over here. So what if this thing's $100 million market cap? That's 200x from where it is, and I'm in for 2,000. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a feeling that this thing is going to have just a really big run. But if it only goes to 20 million and it just becomes a successful product, then I'm good with that. I'm good with that. If it goes to 5 million, let me put it this way: if it goes to 5 million, I'm good with it. Do you know what I mean? Not every play is going to be the $1 billion play, and I'm not hedging on this, by the way. I still think that it has an opportunity to go to that 2.4 billion step-in level sort of thing, get a little bit of traction, and just go out of its mind. Like I still think that that's possible, but just remember that if you get into a project, especially a good project that's going to have a use case and a utility, and you get into it exceedingly low, at some point it has a run. And Shift has not had a run yet because they've been laying low. Pan has been kind of relaxed about everything. He doesn't want to push anything until he has something to push, and then he wants to go full bore on it, and he's got the money to do it. So I don't see any reason why this thing does not hit a very, very nice market cap. It could catch fire, could go crazy, but I don't know. So don't hold me to it. Sheba Doge, by the way, in the background has done a little bit of reorganizing in their marketing, and they are preparing for that next leg up. And there's a lot going on here in the background. You can see over here that there's only 15% of the liquidity still locked for the next 6 months, because they're going to do something very big real soon, and they're going to make an announcement for it pretty soon. We're going to see what happens. I don't have any details. I don't have any information. They like to keep things close to the vest, even though some of us are in that influencer chat with them. We still haven't, we don't get all the information until they provide it to us. Ape is trading at 581, which is now like Guys, there is a sale on the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So this big run up. Remember, there's a metaverse coming. There is a metaverse coming. And matter of fact, somebody in chat just mentioned it. Let's go look at it. Lily Finance, guys. Lily continuing to absolutely crush it in the medical field. They now have as many holders as Terra almost. They're at 10 zeros, 85.21. That's not, listen, that's not a great number. That's not exactly where anybody wants it, but they've been able to maintain a pretty good volume over this period of time. And even though the price has dwindled, now remember the price is dwindling because people are Chads, people are Jeets, people just can't. You're not going to listen. There's a lot of people that are just not going to make it in this market. If you look at the market itself, then it's kind of crazy to realize that $40 billion was wiped out from the crash of Terra Luna and UST. It just disappeared, right? But when you take out, we were at $700 billion with a little bit of institutional money. Now, if you consider that at the high we were at 2.7 trillion, there's a whole lot of money that people had that they brought into it last month or last year with their tax refund and with their free money with their free government cheese money or whatever you call the stimulus money. And the next thing that they're putting it all into crypto because everybody's going YOLO. And now we don't have that money. That money came back out, which is why the market is down a little bit lower. So you see this everywhere. But rest assured, when I tell you that every one of these cryptos that we're talking about will have a moment where it's going to 10, 15, or 20x, you can rest assured that Lily is going to be on that page along with it. Because that's the way it goes. Some of them are going to have more. Something like Volt, because when you start to see what's going on with Volt in the background and you start to get kind of just an idea across the board and see everything that's happening, when you get to see that when you get to see that dream chart and you know that it's kind of a reality, then you probably will know that we're probably at least 100x away right now. Now listen, 50 billion, that's a long way off. That's 1,000x away. I'm saying 100. I'm conservative about this. 5 billion market cap would be unbelievable to me for Volt to get to. I really think that it's going to be 10, but that's a 200x from where it is right now. And with the things that are happening right now, listen, all I'm saying is don't bet against Volt. If you have to make a bet, you want to be on Volt's side. Voltoshi has never failed to deliver on anything and continues to do it over and over and over again. So with that in mind, let's move on to the Sapes real quick. And Safe Ape. There we go. Trading at 26.81 right now. This is one of those tokens that they've got a lot working. They got a lot going on in the background. Like this is a kick-ass project. It's just in a market that doesn't have traction, and at some point it's going to gain traction. When it does, this is not one of these 10x's. Safe Apes is really one of these 100x's during a bull run. That's what this is. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort. It's going to take some work to make it happen. You have to go through the process. There's a whole lot that they've got working. They need the market to be kind. And this is crazy what they have already that's available. Community DAO voting for future decision, NFT staking with premium rewards, security services, and safe audits, rug-free swap with exclusive lithium. And by the way, when's the last time you've seen a token launch? You're barely seeing tokens launching right now. So NFT collection minted with SAPE tokens and 50% more rewards for SAPE. Like you really have an entire ecosystem that's already started in here. But because the market is what the market is, we haven't really seen it. Now, what I meant to do over here was go to Lillian. All right, so Lillian's got a big launch today. I don't know what this is. We'll be reading about it right now. A few Lillian Tribe submissions for the Lillian shirt contest. These are some designs for Lily Finance. Shit, I should have done this. Oh, man, I should have done this one. But let's keep going down here. Flying through the roadmap, full speed ahead. Website version 2.0 launching soon. So that's what we're getting today. We're going to be getting a launch of Lillian Finance version 2.0. Let's go look at 1.0, see what it looks like right now. Oh, the website's down. Ooh, they're getting janky right now, and they're gonna be all fancy and pull it up like that. Okay. Ryan, by the way, he had. By the way, if you're into Lillian Finance, go watch Ryan's thing over here because he had Brad and Lillian both on, and it was really nice to see. Tax-free buys are still live. And just recently, here we go. This is the young lady that was saved. Baby 3 is extremely happy, enjoying Central Park, New York City, and the family is grateful. They paid for the surgery for this young girl, and now she's doing much better already. So, these guys are, you know what I say about charity and stuff like that. But these guys are saving lives. They are saving the lives of children, and somebody's got to do that, right? So, I feel really good about the project and the people who are involved in this project. Like, there's nothing not to like when you look at Lillian, and at least we've moved on, or I feel like we've moved on from everything that happened with the army of people, and they've stopped being spiteful, hateful, hurtful, whatever whatever you call it. They've stopped, and they've moved on to whatever they've moved on to. Well, most of them, I guess, have left and joined cult, but that's a different story entirely. So the market, which was trading up 85 points, is now down 149 to start the day. In addition to that, that would cause exactly what you're seeing right here. You're seeing the market continuing to drop down here, now at the 1777. Now it's starting to get a little bit of a pump on. Bitcoin really wants to run, guys. I think that you're kind of seeing it right here. Like, it hits 29,000 and we're like, oh man. And the next thing you know, it bounces. Now, it cannot hover around 39,000 much longer. Like, you have to, and I hope everybody here kind of realizes what I'm saying when I say this. There's only so much 30,000 to go around before people get frustrated and say, you know what, it's just not moving, and we're done at 30,000. So, moving over here, you can see there's just this is the level. You hit 30,000, 29.5, you bounce. You hit 39,000 or 30,000, 29,000, you bounce. You hit 30,000, you hit 29,000, you bounce, you bounce, you bounce, you bounce, you bounce. You're always bouncing off of 30,000, and you have this little area right here, which is a support line. You have this little area, which is a little bit higher, but it's a support line, but it's resistance right now. And then you come over here and you see, like, we are now consolidating at $30,000, and that is both good overall because you're creating a $30,000 line of support, but this is also 30,000 in resistance that you're going to see if the price goes down. And when it trends like this for extended period of time, look no further than every token that we've ever covered or that we've ever looked at. When you see, as much as I love Volt, I can show you right now exactly what happens when you trend, like even on a Volt line, which I think are good ones, but you trend, you might get a pop, but then you get a lower level because that's the way that this works. All of this stuff, when you create these support lines, if you don't maintain the support line with something going upwards, then you do come down. That's the way that it works. Saitama, same thing. And you can even see it, especially in a bear market. You can see it on every single token. It doesn't really matter what the token's doing, where the token is in the system, on the food chain, or anything like that. When you see it, then you know it, and you know that these things like will start to cascade down, because that consolidation is very difficult. It's incredibly difficult. And I guess you could go over here. I guess, and I suddenly felt weird, because here I am. I'm giving you like meme coins and tokens and stuff like that. I'm like, well, here, look at it right here. It doesn't really make much sense to look at it that way. But when you start to look at long term, and when you're in a bull market, it's different. But when you're in a bear market, you see this downtrend is happening. Like, it's all happening down here. So you have a nice little run on the side right here. You go up, and then eventually it comes back down. Like, I guess I can't show you on BNB right now, because I don't like these charts. I would have to. So we're heading back to Trading View, because I'm an idiot. But here you go. When you start to see things going sideways, then it means that it's about to capitulate and it's about to go lower. When you see things trading sideways, then it's about to capitulate and go lower, because that's the way that this works. So if you continue to do this for much longer, Bitcoin has to get to 32,500, 32,500, 32,300. Like, that's the level of resistance that we're now sitting in. Okay. If we can't get there, and we can't get to this spot right here, right about the bounce spot is just right around where my mouse is. So 32.3, 32.5, that's the spot right there. So if that resistance can't be pushed through, if we're just going to sit here and continue to tread the way we're doing right now, we're not going up. We're going down. We're going down a lot further before we start going back up. So that's why people are nervous, and that's why people think that we're going to have this big capitulation and downward movement down to like 21,000, because you can only support this for so long before there's no more support left. You know, what we need is we don't need this run, by the way. We don't need the gigantic runs. We just need a good one to get us back to a level that seems or feels support-ish. If we could get up here again, 31.7, 32, and just get and bust through that line, and then turn that into a level of support without cascading back down to 30. If we could do that, then we start to move towards that upside. Like, that's what we need. And there's a lot of selling, a lot of people that every time you hit 30, there's way too much action, by the way. It doesn't make a lot of sense, other than older people selling off, really. But we're not seeing the action that we have to see in order to get this thing moving back to the right direction. So this is really kind of where we are. And this is, we look at the minute chart, we look at the 3-minute chart, we look at everything, and it's just, man, oh man, oh man. Thank you for the $10 bomb, Miguel. Whale Games, love your work, Volharm. Yeah, it is. It's Whale Games. I mean, here's what we need. I mean, at the end of all of this, at the end of the whole conversation, what we need that institutional money to ape back in. We need people like what we were talking about earlier. We need that Citadel group. We need Citadel group to say, hey, you know what? We want to get back in on this. We need people like JP Morgan Chase. We need them to say, hey, you know what? We want to get in on this. But what we really need is we need that grayscale we need that grayscale ETF to happen. We need some positive outlook on that. What would be crazy for the market right now would be if we got a surprise in the next week or so, and the SEC said, hey, we just wanted to advise everybody that we're going to go ahead and we're going to approve this conditionally, and we'll revisit ETFs down the road here a little bit, but we want to start moving to a period of better adoption. And if you haven't seen right now, Kristen Gillibrand is sponsoring a new crypto bill. Gilbert, who the hell is that? There's a pro cryptocurrency regulatory bill that have been introduced by, and it's a bipartisan bill, by the way, and it took a lot of Republican ideas or libertarian ideas, really, not Republican, but libertarian ideas, and a lot of Democrat ideas of control, and tried to meld it into something better. Would treat most digital assets as commodities under the CFT oversight. So this is probably the best thing that we're going to get. This is probably the best move that we can possibly get for the market, is to get a couple of old ladies on our side. They want to tame the Wild West crypto market on Tuesday that would classify digital assets as commodities like wheat or oil and empower the Commodity Futures Trading Commission to rein in the nascent industry. What they're trying to do is they're trying to protect consumers. And you know what? Listen, the reason that we're here right now in the DeFi space is to get away from what they're doing, which is trying to control what we do. But at the same time, we're not doing a good job ourselves of reining in the problems that coexist with this space. Therefore, if we can't rein ourselves in, we're subject to what's happening right now. And all of these Chad bros that make these cryptos that are pump and dumps and stuff like that, and all the people that are getting wrecked for thousands of dollars, like all of those are the reason. Those are the people who are causing this to happen. And we have to be able to get beyond that, and we have to figure out a way to make this whole thing better. But we also need to talk real quick about Don Verrilli. So Don Verrilli is the 46th Solicitor General, and he retired a couple years ago. He's been replaced, but he's been hired by Grayscale. Grayscale has hired him to force the Bitcoin ETF approval. I realized just a second ago, I'm probably talking to a crowd here that doesn't all know what I'm talking about when I'm saying this. July 6th, the SEC is supposed to make a decision on Grayscale on their spot ETF. And you can see right here, the company's been waiting on a decision for the SEC to convert its flagship $19.8 billion Grayscale Bitcoin trust into a spot-based ETF since filing its application to the regulators on October 19 of 2021. The SEC has pushed back its decision on multiple occasions, once in December and again in February. A final decision on the application is expected on July 6th. Now, Grayscale is getting tired of waiting, and they do not want they don't want this anymore. They want this done because there's no reason. Jake Chervinsky, head of policy at the crypto advocacy group Blockchain Associates, said adding such firepower to Grayscale legal team was a strong move, and that the SEC would have little chance of surviving a legal challenge if it decided to knock back approval now. And again, Grayscale does not want to wait. So they got Don Verrilli Jr. In here with their law firm helping out, trying to get their stuff in order. And you know what? Alabama's on notice, my man. Alabama is on notice. On Twitter, Grayscale explained that the lawyer had been involved in more than 50 cases before the Supreme Court, blah, 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 blah. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to get this thing done. And if this gets done, then it's time for the next. It's time for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So, but yeah, we got a few minutes here. We're going to close it out with football. I'm going to tell you that Alabama is on notice. Auburn is probably on notice too. I think over the next 10 years or so, guys, I really think that we're going to start to see a revolution in college football because of this NIL deal. And I got a feeling, I just have this feeling that larger market cities are going to have a revival. You know, like the team in Miami, like Miami's going to have something of a revival. And then, I think Notre Dame is probably going to struggle. I think that Tuscaloosa, I'm not sure. That's only 180,000 people, I think. I think they're going to struggle with NIL deals, or at least the finances involved to compete. Like I think that South Bend will start to lose a few players to Northwestern because there's going to be some prestige to go to Alabama. It's going to be some prestige to go to an SEC school. But I think that we'll start to see the bigger cities gain more people. Like we're going to rapidly sort of see that play out in the market, where like Los Angeles, that's one of the biggest markets. New York, one of the biggest markets. Chicago, one of the biggest markets. Miami, the major cities, any big colleges that are in those are probably going to reap benefits because people are going to be able to spend more money on NIL deals. That's just my opinion. Like if a small area can support it, and by the way, if you haven't noticed, Louisville has the number 5 recruiting class, and I'm a Louisville fan, but there's no way in hell Louisville has a number 5 recruiting class in the country unless they're doing a lot with those NIL deals. And I talked to my friends at home, and they're like, yeah, you can see college players everywhere. Like people are paying good amounts for NIL deals in Louisville, and that's luring some big time recruits to come because Louisville's got a population of over 1 million people. So that being said, kids are going to go where the money is, especially if you have an opportunity as a high school student or a college student to start making money while you're plying your craft. So I think we're going to be in one of those situations where just, bigger cities are going to have a little bit of an advantage over some other smaller cities. All right, guys, there is my alarm. And that means that it is time. By the way, Luna, for those of you that follow Luna, the Luna proposal was approved. Luna Classic will now start burning 1.2% of every transaction. It doesn't seem like a lot to me. I don't know how this is going to play out, but there's a huge volume. One of the problems that most of these tokens have is a lack of volume, but Luna Classic has $180 million worth of volume every day. So I think it might start to burn some supply very, very, very quickly. So it's burning almost 1.2% of its market cap. Like its market cap is something like 200 million right now. So I think that if this keeps going for a few more days, it's going to be crazy. So we'll see what happens. But guys, it's not financial advice. My name's Bleeves, and I'm always right. And you guys have a good day, and we will talk to you again for Bedtime with Bleeves at 8 o'clock Central Time,